Welcome to the last show, live show of the showcases tonight here in Bremen, in the OVP Arena. And we all know that about 120 years ago, jazz is an American art form. And it went all over the world, the whole globe, and left everywhere traces. And it has, this is what the strength of jazz is, it mixed up with all cultures, musical cultures in the whole planet. And that means that a really big exchange of music and musicians take place nowadays, and I think this really enriches the music. We have tonight a wonderful, a very strong tenor player, a strong voice coming from Germany, and he's one of the musicians who lives in two cities. He told me since 13 years he lives in New York, and all the other time, partly he shares with Berlin. So two of the real big cities and capitals of jazz worldwide. He is, with the band I just listened to, his soundcheck, is based in the tradition of jazz, but open for the actual and new forms of improvisation. We are very happy that it was possible for him to fly over from New York to Bremen, to Berlin first, and play his, he has got several bands. This band is called Tobias Meinhart Berlin People, and he always also has a band in New York. So he's a very good example how the exchange of musicians and music take place nowadays. And I heard the soundcheck is this fantastic energy, high energy music from musicians from Berlin, and we are happy that he is here. So please enjoy the wonderful music of Tobias Meinhart Berlin People.
Dankeschön. Willkommen hier in der ÖVB Arena. I talk English, I think it's better so everyone can understand us online. Hello everyone who is watching the live stream. It's such a pleasure to play on stage again. I can't tell you how good it feels to play with these guys after, I don't know, more than a year for sure. It's our first gig. So many concerts canceled, tours, but we're gonna be back. We're gonna play everywhere. And that was just the start. I introduced the band, the great Ludwig Hornung on piano. And from my hometown, we played together, I think for more than 20 years. We started in the Bavarian Youth Jazz Orchestra. He also lives in Berlin now. He also lived in New York for a while. We played in New York together a lot too. Tom Berkmann on the bass. And originally from Austria, but also Berliner now, and a good friend as well, Mathias Ruppnig on the drums. And my name is Tobias Meinhart. Thank you so much. Thanks to the Jazzahead for having us. It was for sure a lot of things to organize, and also to get the band together was not as easy as we thought, but we did it. And it was such a pleasure to play those 3 tunes for you, which are on our current album. The first was called The F Word. I wrote that for the great Wayne Shorter. Then a tune for Malala Yousafzai, the young Nobel Prize winner. And the tune obviously is called Malala. And the one you just heard, more free approach, is called Be Free. And maybe that also is good to have as an idea in these Corona times, which I hope will be soon over. And we have one more for you, and that's the title track of our album called Berlin People. All right, have a good night. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being here.
Sax player Tobias Meinhart and his Berlin people live here on our big stage at Jazzahead 2021. He will be up here in a few minutes, actually, yes, as a real person, not a hologram. He's really here. He flew over from New York via Berlin, which are the two main cities in his life. I just heard from Uli, and I read before, because it's kind of easy to find out about Tobias Meinhart and what he's up to, because he started an Instagram blog, basically posting a picture every day about what he did during the pandemic. There was a lot going on, looked like, and actually it looked kind of nice. You know, obviously what he wrote about to those pictures was sometimes a little dire and reflecting the feelings that we all had during these times. But, you know, once it came to day 400 and 401 and counting, and many times I read in those posts, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And well, as we all know, sometimes that's from an oncoming train. But in his case, it looked really romantic and authentic, and I'm looking forward to hearing it from the man himself, who is originally from Regensburg and who brought an old friend of his from Regensburg to Berlin and to those Berlin people that we just heard here live on stage. He released a new album under his name, not the Berlin people, recently, called The Painter. I think that really just came out a few days ago. It's a brilliant album that also features Ingrid Jensen and Obed Calvert. He's been a contributor to Jazz Thing magazine, and actually one of the first people to write us this morning during our morning coffee when it was when we were talking about, you know, programs that encourage young musicians and that further their careers. And he mentioned the Jazz Thing Next Generation, which he has been a part of. So it's really great to know that he's thankful for that. And as a contributing editor to Jazz Thing, I am thankful for his thankfulness, if that makes sense. Yeah, I guess it does. So Tobias Meinhart is on his way. This will be the end of a long Saturday, our Workers' Day, Tag der Arbeit here in Germany, with much less going on around us, but a lot going on in here. And I'm glad that you all shared it with us. We have another full day coming tomorrow morning. There will be another morning coffee at 10 a.m. in the morning, and there will be more music, all pre-recorded, but all exciting and all new from a great selection of artists for this Jazz Ahead 2021, our first and foremost digital edition. And I can't stress it enough. We're really happy that you're taking part in this and doing it with us and inviting us into your homes, and not only us, of course, but all the musicians that were selected by these juries to play for you and to spread their music. And there he is, Tobias Meinhart, ready to come on stage. I thought he was going to bring a saxophone, but no, that's fine there in the front seat. Oh, I thought he didn't hear me, but yeah, he is bringing a saxophone. Wow. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you.
And great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
I was just telling people that you were one of the few and one of the only people this morning, no, one of the earliest people to write to us during our morning coffee this morning.
Yeah. I want to be part of the Jazz Ahead at least a little bit when I'm here. Yeah.
And you mentioned the Jazz Thing Next Generation, which was important in your career.
Yeah, it is true. It was my first CD and the first big gigs, and yeah, they helped me a lot, Volker, and I think he's going to talk about it tomorrow in a panel, and I did something with them about it.
Yeah. It's great to have you here. I mean, I was just saying that, you know, it's kind of easy to follow what you were doing during the past year because you post each day on Instagram. And
I stopped now since a week or 2 weeks. It had to end.
You're on an Insta diet.
Yeah, more or less. But I hope there is some a light at the end of the tunnel somehow. At least in New York, it feels already things are opening up. And I think here in a month or two, it's going to be much better than now.
Yeah, the mayor of New York said by July 1st, everything is going to be open again.
Oh, I didn't have that news. That's good. So yeah.
Yeah, he rang me personally. No, I read it in the New York Times this morning, actually.
Nice,
so
that's good.
Happy to tell you that. So good you're here. Tell me a little bit about the Berlin people.
Well, two things. usually I spend summers in Berlin, and I like the Berlin people. I like the New York people too, but in Berlin it's much more relaxed. I love to be there. Usually I write most of the music there because I can chill a little more, sit in a park and have a beer outside and get inspired by the Berlin people. So that kind of inspired me to write, or that's where I wrote the whole music for that new project and the album. And then the second thing is all the musicians are also living in Berlin now. Everyone except me, which I feel like I'm half Berlin, you know. So that's why.
Yeah. You've been in New York, or between New York and Berlin, for 13 years, is that true?
Yeah, I think it's getting to 13 years, 2009. That's when I started.
Still, it's a long, long time. Did you ever
it goes like that. To tell you the truth, it goes very fast.
Did you ever think you would stay that long when you went there first?
No, I went with a student visa to do a master's, and yeah, that's the master's is still taking.
You're still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true, actually. Like that's the New York Masters of Jazz takes some time.
I read somewhere, and I was not sure that was maybe something was lost in translation, but you got in touch with jazz through being a roadie for Bob Brookmeyer?
Wow. I mean, it's
true.
That's
what it said.
No,
so
it's true. No, I actually read it and I thought it's true, and I really like it. It's true. Definitely. Maybe I was already maybe 16, 17. I didn't have to go to school that week. We went to Portugal, and really the Bob Brookmeyer Orchestra. A lot of German musicians actually. Michael Wolny was playing piano.
Oh wow.
And like crazy good musicians, and just to talk with them and talk with him, it inspired me a lot. And I was between studying medicine, because my family is more on that side, and music. So I think maybe that was the final push. But also, my grandfather is a bass player, so that was my early exposition. Is that right? Exposure to jazz.
Yeah. Yes. Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's still a great story. I mean,
no, it was really fun. It was maybe like 10 days or something, but it was really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you could you really listen to the music, or were you working most of the times and just hanging out with the musician?
I don't think I was a great roadie. I was just listening to the music. And it was just, I mean, I hope I did something for them, but it was mostly to just be hanging with them. And I think they liked someone, you know, at 16 being super into jazz and into that. It's not also happens every day, you know. So I think it was also nice that I asked so many questions, and they were very happy to talk to me. Yeah, it was cool.
You grew up in Regensburg, and you brought one of your old school friends to the gig on bass today. Is that so?
Almost true. Yeah, he is from Bad Tölz, I think. So we didn't go to the same high school and gymnasium, but he went to the Bavarian Youth Orchestra, and me too. He's a little bit younger, so he was there maybe when he was 12, 13, and I was 16, 17, but we played there together, so in that time. And they meet a lot, like 4 or 5 times a year, so we became friends already then.
Wow. Do you see that kind of educational thing going on these days where, you know, really young kids are getting into the music and are being inspired by being roadies for you, or, you know, or whatever it takes?
No, I think actually in the terms of youth jazz orchestra, Germany is doing a really great job there. It's like the Bundesjugend Jazz Orchestra from the country, and then each state has their own youth jazz orchestra, and then there's Jugend Jazz, the jazz prize, which we also did. And it helped us. I think they sponsored our first demo CD, and they're still doing it a lot. So yeah. I think that is quite good. I have to say, though, in terms of maybe more than when you're in your 20s, 30s, I was very impressed in that panel, the iJazz from Italy. I'm not sure if something like that, maybe there's the Goethe Institute, but something as well organized, maybe there is something and I don't know, but that was impressive.
Yeah. But then, of course, I mean, being a jazz fan and playing the music New York is always like the place to go to, right?
Yeah.
How did you go about doing that? I mean, you said, you know, for a master's, but did you just apply and were accepted because you sent in a tape? Well, probably a CD at that time or a file, or...
Yeah, I think that was not so. I just figured I already had a master's, but that was the only way you could go there for a visa. Even in those times, it was pretty hard. So
Yeah.
I tried to get some kind of visa, and the student visa is rather easy. You can. To do a master's, I would everyone recommend them to look into the schools. It's totally possible if you want to do that experience, that's possible. Then to stay there, get a job there, making money there after that, or any scholarships runs out, that's more the hard part, to stay then there.
So how did you manage? I mean, now you're in a position where, you know, I just mentioned there's your new album, The Painter, just came out with
True.
Ingrid Jensen and Norbert Calvert and Berkmann, and wow. I mean, it's like really... At least on paper and on the record, it looks like you're really established. I mean, it feels also great,
but I have to say that sometimes those are great musicians and it's amazing. But coming back here, I sometimes feel, at least for me, I always had this. Is that the right word? Minority complex? I'm probably not. I felt insecure about coming from Europe and wanting to play, especially maybe some swing and playing jazz. Yeah. I didn't grow up in Haarlem. I came from a small village in Bavaria. I had this really in my head, and it took a long time to get it out. And for that, New York was good to just see they're only just people. You know, I was always like that, like, oh, Matt Penman or those guys are so, and I was scared. And now to see, oh, you hang, you get a bottle of wine, they drink, they make mistakes, they mess up the form. They're great, amazing, but they're just, you can achieve the same. When you just ask, what did you practice? I practiced that, you practice it, and you get better, you know. I think that's very important to feel not always, oh, the Americans.
It's so funny because Chris Davis was a part of the Canadian program.
I know her too. She's friends of Ingrid, and we were hanging out with her a while ago.
And she said, you know, she did like a 5 questions thing where, you know, it was like, what do you really feel about not having done bad about not having done earlier in your life? And she said, I always had this fear of asking players that I admired to play with me because I thought, you know, the fear of rejection and all that. And now she's at a point where she goes like, okay, if they don't want to play with me, that's fine. I'll ask somebody else, you know. And like you said, they're just people. So
exactly.
Some Berlin people, some New York people.
I just wanted to say it.
Cool. I saw that you had or have a tour planned with the Berlin people. Mm-hmm. It's still on.
Yes, I mean, we had a lot of tours plans which all got cancelled, but for the summer we play 1 week at A-Train, and the plan is to do a live album actually there, and 1 week in Bird's Eye Basel, which I love those ideas. It doesn't happen much to play a week in a club, and you can't just leave the instrument and let the music grow. You don't have to drive. So that I'm very excited about that. And I think it's going to happen. I'm very optimistic.
Yes, light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Tobias Meinhart, for being a part of this, for coming here, for doing this, and for playing for us and for you. It's been a great privilege and pleasure.
Thank you so much for the invitation and for listening. Yeah.
Thank you. And with that, we close this evening of day 3 at Jazzahead Digital 2021. And I want to thank you and the crew and everybody involved for making this happen. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 for our morning coffee or tea, or orange juice, whatever it will be. Good night.